morning. How's everybody doing this morning? You hear me okay? Beautiful. My name's Diane Height. I am with Primerica. I am new to the Delaware area. I ran my business up in Pennsylvania and was down here visiting and found a house I liked. So we bought it and we moved. And so what I'm trying to do is open a new office down here. So I'm just going to go over a little bit of what we do. I'm getting a little echo. Are we okay? So we are a financial services company. We are kind of the, if you think about it, the Amazon of finance. If you come to us, you can pretty much get anything you need financially. So one of the things that we talk about is when you're thinking about being an entrepreneur is you need to find a need and then fill it. Well, the statistics out there are staggering right now as far as what people are doing and how they're struggling financially. And I'm just going to show you a couple of the statistics here. 2/3 of the people in this country are living paycheck to paycheck. You know those folks. I run into them every day. 95 million Americans have no life insurance. Yet over 7,000 people die on a daily basis. That's twice the number of people that died in 9/11. You think about 9/11, and you remember 9/11, all those artists were doing concerts, and all the actors were doing fundraisers. Well, part of the reason was the president declared it an act of war. Well, when you declare it an act of war, the insurance companies don't pay. Primerica was was the only company that actually paid. We took a van up into New York City and actually paid the death claims. So pretty proud of that fact. Average household, scary, almost $16,000 in credit card debt. What do you do when the car breaks down? You pull out the credit card, because if you look at coming into that next line down, we only have $500 in savings. You don't have a choice. You need a new refrigerator, you've got to go to the plastic. 51% of all workers make less than $30,000. Poverty level for a family of four is $28,000. We're in trouble here. 60% of all workers, $25,000 for retirement. Everybody ready to retire on 25 grand? Probably not, exactly. So our mission is to help families earn more money, keep more money in their pockets, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. And those are all things that really everybody needs. Our target market right now is mainly middle America, but we work the entire gamut. There's a shrinking of professionals in the industry, and we're trying to expand that. If you look at 100 people at age 65, that's that magic number. Everybody thinks, well, if I get to 65, I can retire. Well, this is what's going on in the country. One person at 65 will be wealthy. That means they have $5 million. They do whatever they want, whenever they want. They're good. 4 people will be financially independent. And so what that means is that you can quit working at age 65 and then continue to live your lifestyle. So one of the things that you have to think about, how happy are you with your lifestyle? Most people spend more money in retirement than they make in their entire lifetime. So those are things. So we've got 5 people out of that are making it. 41 people will still be working. Most of those people work till the day they die. And then 54 are broke, which means they're dependent on their families or they're dependent on the government to survive. Okay? So what we did, and with the help of some really great researchers, is we figured out what the 4 reasons were that people actually finish in that line above, those 5 people that can actually make it. And so the first one is they have a plan. Think about anything you do. You're not going to build your house without a plan of how to build the house. Well, why would you do that with your finances? When you think about planning things, I live close to the beach, and people spend more time planning their vacation than they plan their financial future. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, you want to have a coach. If you think about people who are financially well off, or anyone that is in that category above that line, they've got people that are advising them. When you think about people that are wealthy, they've got experts telling them how to do everything. Well, finance is no different. So you need to have a coach and you need to have a plan. The third thing is financial education. And I'm going to pick on education for just a little while, but think about it. When we all went to high school, I was a school teacher. Yeah, I was told not to do that. I was a school teacher when I was before this career. And while I was doing that, all the kids at the high school had to have algebra. And I was a phys ed major, and I never used algebra after I got out of high school. But we all had it, and I had 3 years of it because I really liked math. But how many of us really had a class on how money works, how to get ahead in the money game, how to take care of our families? And most people haven't. There's usually one or two. So we're not getting that education, and that's kind of by design, because if we figure out how the money game works, all those people that work in the money industry aren't going to make any money, okay? And then the fourth thing is ownership, and ownership is really, really important. Is it better to own your house or rent your house? Own your house, right? Well, what wealthy people understand is it's also more important to own your income stream. And what that means is that you're not trading your hours for dollars. So for those of us that, and I've been in this situation, that go to work, they punch a clock, 8 hours of a day, and then they go home and they've traded 8 hours for a paycheck. Well, what wealthy people understand is that they need to make their money work for them, so they invest it, or they open businesses, and that's where the entrepreneurship comes in. They open businesses so that they can reap the benefits of, yes, they pay a good wage to their workers, but they also reap the benefits there. So there are really only 4 reasons. So for those of you that think, oh my God, will I make it above that line? There's only 4 things that you need to accommodate, okay? So what we talk about is people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan, kind of like that vacation thing. So traditional financial institutions, you're out there shopping for your products. So think about all those financial issues you have. What are the chances you could say, hey, Thursday night, I'll order pizza, come on over to the house 5:30, and we'll put a plan together. How many of your financial professionals are going to show up? Well, none of them, right? So what we do, that's what we do. We sit down with the family, we take a snapshot of where they are, we throw in all their goals and dreams, we put a plan together to help them reach those goals and dreams. And so there are 21 areas in anyone's financial house we look at. Most people are doing really, really well in most of those areas, but there's 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 where we can help. And for our average family, we free up between $200 and $2,000 on a monthly basis. So what would it feel like if you had maybe an extra $500 in your pocket on a monthly basis? Just because you're allocating your money, maybe not in the best way. It'd be a pretty good thing, right? Everybody's like giggling at me. I was single when I did this. I freed up $800. I transferred from the college level to the high school level, 2 different states, and my college experience didn't transfer. I was going to have to work in the school district till I was 72 years old. I'm a phys ed teacher. Picture the walker. Not pretty, right? I freed up $889 just by doing that. I'm on target to retire at 55. I turned 54 this year. Now, I like what I do. I'm not going to retire, but it sure is nice to know that. Makes a big difference, doesn't it? Well, the nice thing about this is we do this service for free. It's complimentary. It's confidential. We don't share your information with anybody. And it's customized just to you. So my point is this. There are people out there that are actually helping the world, and you're sitting there going, well, how does she make money? We have marketing agreements with hundreds of companies that actually pay us to place business with them. Because we have the best of the best working for us, we get to pick the best company that fits the need of the client the best. Put those people together. And that's how we get paid, but the client is the one that benefits because they're getting the best product at the best price. So I'm getting a minute at the end, but I'm going to zip really quickly through this. These are the companies we work with. But there's something called the Rule of 72, and what it does is I'm going to zip through this one. What it does is it tells you, but this is the one I want to get to. What it tells you is how often your money should double. So think about it this way. If I'm getting 3% interest on my money, you divide it into 72, tells you how often your money should double. So 24 years. So if I'm getting 6%, it's 12 years. And if I'm getting 12%, which the market is returning right now, you're getting every 6 years. So what I always tell folks, and because I got young people in the audience, think about the event of having a child. And you know how we all over-splurge on the child? Well, if you could corral your friends and corral the $500 at the child's birth, and you invested it, and you got that 12% return, which is what the market returns, At age 55, you'd have $355,000, but at age 65, they'd have over $1 million for a one-time investment of $500 returning 12%. Those are the kind of things we teach. Questions? Seems kind of loud at times.
I know, it's sometimes hard.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. We're really
Well,
glad
you.
to hear about all of this.
Thank
now
you.
the floor is open for questions, answers,
Anybody
and
have questions?
comment and feedback.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you go back
Oh,
to
one more thing,
Oh.
excuse me. Please use the microphone because we are recording it, and that way we don't miss any important
you.
questions and comments.
Where am I
good
going?
information? Would you go back to the slide with your partners?
Yes.
Previous.
Oh,
Right there.
these are just some of our partners.
So would you walk me through being a potential client? Are you looking at my financial?
Your entire financial house, anything from your auto insurance all the way to your retirement investments, everything in between.
And are you looking at those collaborators or partners as my best fit?
As your best fit. So what we do is we'll sit down with, how the process works is we sit down and we would give you a list of things to gather. And then we collect the information that we need and we put it in the computer, and the computer generates different scenarios. You ultimately are the person that makes the decision. Most of the options, you get 3 options. If you do this, you'd be able to retire with $1 million. If you do this, you'd be able to retire with, what you really need is this amount. So the computer does all that stuff. I'm not that smart. And then what happens is we research with all these different partners, because we have hundreds of agreements with big banks, big insurance companies, big investment companies, and we only work with A-rated companies, A or A-plus rated companies. And then what happens is we find what the best product at the best price is, and we match you up with that company. And then it's ultimately your decision: do you go in that direction or do you not? That's how it works. So these are just a couple of the companies. So if you see on this side is our investment. It's some of the bigger names of investments, so you know those. And then on the other side is all your debt management and your debt consolidation people. You're also going to have your people that help us. We have 20 companies that help us with auto and home insurance. And then also we do legal protection, health insurance, long-term care, and then of course life insurance.
And so after we have made this agreement, if you will, do you track me?
Absolutely.
Okay, and for
You're
a
my
period of
client
time?
for life until you boot me to the curb. Okay.
And what is it that you're looking for?
What am I looking for out of the client?
Yes, in the tracking process.
In the
of
tracking
making sure
process, what we're trying to do is maximize your net worth, minimize your debt, and make sure that if something happens to anyone within the family, that the family can handle the situation.
And what are they doing?
What are they doing? They're accommodating you, and they're actually providing the products for us to do that.
Thank you.
Hi,
Good morning.
good morning. What is the, let's say, minimum level of income you're working with? Because we were talking about that 51%.
$1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. We'll work with anyone. We don't have a lower level. One of the things that I'm going to do my little sales pitch. I'm looking for people because we're trying to open an office down here. So I'm looking for people that are looking for work opportunities also. But we'll work with anyone. It's really, really difficult for us to help those that are receiving financial assistance from the government. But there's also ways that we can help them get out of that situation because we do have the work opportunities. So there's not a client I can't work with unless there's, if it's a disability situation, we can help assist to where to go, but there's not a lot of financial assistance we can give that way.
Is there any restrictions, speaking about status, residency, because here is a lot of Latino population who don't have this legal residence, or they are on TPS program or something like that. Are you working with them?
We are working. There are some logistics with some of those folks. If they are, obviously, if they're here illegally, we're going to have to kind of point them in the direction, get them taken care of first before we can go. but we do have some opportunities that way. So.
I've got two questions for you. Obviously, you're not new at this. What brought you to Delaware, and where have you done this previously? And the second question is, what made you give up teaching?
Okay, so let's start with the give up teaching part first. I was in education for 25 years. I started at the college level teaching teachers out in Minnesota, and then my father got ill, and so I came home. And so I ended up in an inner city school in Pennsylvania, and my largest class was 114 kids. My smallest class was 40. And it was becoming a liability. And then the last year before I quit, there was they were doing construction, and they were using diesel saws under my office, and I got carbon monoxide poisoning. And no one from the school district contacted me for a week because I shut down so I figured it was time for me to leave. And like I said, I was going to have to work till I was 72. So I saw this and started working part-time, and working part-time 2 nights a week, I made as much money as I was making working full-time as a teacher, working 16-hour days. So that was a pretty easy decision there. What made me move here? I grew up in Pennsylvania. My mother is still there. However, I've never been a big fan. I left when I was 18, swore I would never go back. And so a friend of mine was looking for houses, and we were helping. And we found one we fell in love with, and it's the beach, and everybody smiles a whole lot more here.
Well, welcome.
Well, thank
Happy
you.
to have you.
Thank you very much. So,
Someone else? I knew somebody would.
I knew
Sure,
I'd get a
I-
question
I-
from you. Good morning.
I think we met at BNI, right?
Yes, sir.
BNI,
Yes.
another great organization down here
Absolutely.
and growing by leaps and bounds. I think you're now a member of the largest networking group here, maybe even within the state. So my concern is that you're moving into an area, especially east of 113, that's known as the beaches. That area has an awful lot of people that probably are falling into those top numbers, and they're coming here to retire because they've cashed in on probably a piece of property that they've had for a relatively long period of time. Some of their mistakes, I feel, is obviously building monuments down here rather than maybe going on and investing their money. How are you going to address a marketplace like Lewis, Rehoboth, and that area with your services?
What we're finding is there's a huge educational process associated with what we do, and although you're talking about a wall of wealth that's moving into the area, I've already been exposed to, although there's this wall of wealth, the concepts behind that wall are sometimes not financially sound. So it's more about education. We're doing a lot of just free seminars in the area. Anybody that's willing to open their door to us, and we cater the topics. I also joined the Money School for Delaware, which is absolutely fabulous, and Lewis has invited me in to do presentations there, and we're trying to target that market also. Because what happens is we were all raised, my age group and yours, I'm going to assume, that you put your money in the bank, and with the interest rates the way they are right now, it's actually financial suicide. So it's all about the educational process, and so, yeah, I get a lot of, no, we're good. And so we just have conversations. It's all about the relationship and the conversation. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the beaches.
Thank you very much.
My question, and I'm looking at what you have here, the services that I think I see that you provide, and my question really relates somewhat to what Mike was talking about, but what makes you and your organization separate or different than a Thrivent or a State Farm or a Nationwide or any other financial service providers that are out there? What's your secret sauce?
Well, our secret sauce, one, is the educational process. A lot of what's going on in the industry is that the numbers are shrinking. You know, there's cutbacks, and you hear about, you turn on the TV, it's cutbacks, this, you know, this downside, that downside. So actually the number of people that are available to service individuals is actually shrinking. Now, us, on the other hand, we actually are expanding. We're actually going to try and double the company in the next 4 years. That's a process that we're in the middle of, and that's part of why they were so happy that I said, I'm going to move to Delaware, because we don't have a presence here. So what's our secret sauce? Our secret sauce is education. We are willing to work with the client that has $50 a month to do whatever it is that they need to do to best provide for their family. And we actually do put money back. We're never asking for new money. There hardly ever do we ask for new money. So when we go into a situation, we evaluate the entire situation, and I'm putting money back in your pocket so that anything that you need to do for your family is actually a really easy thing compared to a lot of these other companies that just say, well, you need this and you need this, and so this is what it's going to cost. Our whole goal is to figure out a way to adjust what you're making and keep more of it in your pocket so that you can actually afford the things you need for your family to be financially successful. Thank you.
Are you familiar with Stand By Me?
No.
Well, Stand By Me was established by the state, and I would encourage you to connect. I'll be happy to give you the contact person, but they provide basically educational services. They recognize that the financial literacy in Delaware needed improving, so they kind of a complement to the money school.
Okay.
But I would encourage you to link up with them, because maybe through your educational process, maybe there's some synergy between the two of you.
That's great.
And
Thank you.
Corey Dunt is the one that's is the person here on this campus that
Okay.
represents them.
Perfect.
About other questions, comments? Well, we never like to leave till we ask another final question, and that is, what can we as a community do to support you?
Right now, the biggest thing for me is to put myself in front of more people. If you know anybody, obviously, that is looking for work, we do all our training in-house. What we have found is that when you walk out the door with I hope there's no finance majors. When you walk out the door with a finance major, 85% of what you have learned is now obsolete. And so we do all our training continuously. So we are looking for folks. And the other thing is we're looking to help the world, because if you turn on the TV and listen, the middle class is shrinking, and the demise of any great nation is the loss of their middle class. So the brochures on the chair, or the 30 minutes could change your life. That's the free financial seminar, the financial needs analysis that we do. If you know anybody that would be interested, I believe my information is on the back of there. I also have business cards. So we're just trying to get the word out and kind of grow the knowledge in the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane,
Thank
very
you.
much. We wish you much luck and success.
Thank you very much.